It has been almost 10 years since the Institute of Educology and Social Work at the Prešov University started to hold adventure-based field trips in the form of an optional course. At the present, they are also offered to foreign students as a part of their curriculum. In the course of the program, participants face physical and emotional challenges and meet their personal limitations. It could be said that experiencing that a person is able to achieve more than they originally thought is the aim of the program. At the same time, the participants can also experience that a good teamwork is more efficient than the efforts of an individual. Such experience is then carried forward and applied to the participants' future lives by isomorphic metaphorical transfer. At the beginning of this documentary, there is a story about a couple who built a wooden house many years ago in one of the Tatra valleys. They were so impressed by the beauty of this valley that they kept descending lower and lower. At the end, the peaks close their way back. Their souls are therefore ever present while their bodies have turned into two boulders at the wide brook not far from their house.
The first time I heard about the terrain training, I thought it would be like just another Erasmus trip, seeing some castles and churches and then walking in the mountains a little bit. Eventually I understood that it was much more than this, that it would be a real trip and quite hard for us. When we started the trip, we learned about how the terrain training would be organized.
When you look at the Tatras for the first time, you feel extremely little. Rules of this trip was...
First, we were the ones who had to find the hut.
Two key points. One was a legend about a couple. The other key point is a big open area, a meadow.
We had walked for some 2.5 hours and we had no idea where the hut was.
And if you can reach this part, we have gone too far. So we know that the hut is between the two big rocks and this meadow.
I actually didn't think that we were going to find the hut, but we did.
It's a very big difference between what I was imagining before the trip and what I saw there. For me, in this trip, new was that we have to split our big group into smaller groups. One was the action group and one the support group.
The action group were to stay outside for 24 hours, sleeping in a tent in the tent space, not so far from the cabin.
But in general, knowing that there was bears there, was scary. Compare with it's cold and there is bear outside doesn't make a good night's sleep. So the feeling when we are going to sleep outside is quite strange and scary.
Morning when the support group came with hot tea and some breakfast, you realized you had survived.
It was really great to have something warm in our bodies before starting this day.
Making breakfast for the people outside and seeing how grateful they were was a good experience.
What was not so great about the support group was that when they arrived, also the bird woke up. The bird. He was actually living there where we were putting our tents.
He seems so aggressive and he makes some terrible noises.
We had to be one person just keeping the bird busy while the other people did the stuff that we had to do.
And I was the lucky one who was going to be the one to have the bird in my heels for an hour. I was running around the tree for an hour and the bird was, he wasn't giving up, he was very stubborn and he really hated me, I think.
The support group was supposed to stay in the hut to keep the hut warm.
And the most important tasks of the support group were to cook, keep the fire going, and see to that there was always water.
Chopping wood as a part of the support group work was extremely fun. The wood was wet, fire wouldn't burn.
In the beginning it was really fun. We were tidying around, making some coffee, cutting the wood and arranging some stuff around the tents.
Like a support group, you have to do your best. You have to make a good job, make good food, not the best, but just good, because you know that the others are staying outside. You have to take care about them. You don't know what is happened if somebody gets hurt or something like this, so you have to be prepared for each situation.
On this trip, even the simplest things are becoming very complicated. when the action group were walking in the mountains, we were supposed to wear high-tech avalanche equipment because the avalanche was pretty dangerous. There was avalanche level 3, I think. And so we had basic training in how to use the avalanche equipment. So if the avalanche should strike us, we knew how to find the other ones.
But we were all hoping that we didn't have to use them. It started out with a little bit of snow, and we were quite worried it would be snowing all day. But as we climbed higher, the sun came and the weather was just perfect for the walking.
I thought it was very heavy to go to the top because the snow was very high. It was just straight ahead up.
I was walking into the snow above my knees.
When we were in the mountains, I was happy that I'm not alone, and I know that somewhere are people who can help me if something happens, and that I can help them if something happens.
If I was alone, I for sure wouldn't go quite that far.
If one failed, everyone failed in a group, so you have to communicate.
To reach the highest point as a team, not as a person.
When we were at the highest top of our climb, we were looking around and all we could see are only the mountains, the peaks, the snow-covered sides, and the sun shining on all this white, glorious sun. We could see our tracks down the hills where we had been walking, but it seems like the mountains had closed around us, like the valley was not there anymore, and like the only thing in the whole world are these mountains.
It was indeed a great feeling to be up there.
I like High Tatras and I want to go there and climbing.
What experience I had on this terrain training, it's almost impossible to explain in a classroom or to somebody on the street.
You get to know yourself in a group, and you see both positive and negative sides with yourself, and you maybe get more aware of them. You get to test yourself and seeing your own limits.
All trip was about trusting, about trust to somebody.
Being on a terrain train it's the best experience that you can have, because you learn to be in a team, to work as a team. You learn to support the others, and you learn how far you can go.
If I had the opportunity to go for the terrain training once more, I surely would answer yes at the moment.
For me, this trip gave me a lot of good memories I will never forget.
The terrain training, it was a great possibility for all of us to get to know each other on a different sort of level than just staying at the dormitory.
And I can say it was very hard, but it was very nice also.
If you're taking a survival trip as for the aim to train a group of teachers or a group of staff, I think it's an excellent idea. Go out there and deal with the problems. You can't just talk about it in the classroom. We learned to live together for these 4 days, and I'm sure you will as well if you go. And I really advise you to go this trip.
We are the Erasmus students from University of Prešov, and we are the stickers. The stickers, the stickers, the stickers, 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 the